all accounts, the summer of 1919 was a good one on Kentucky farms. Bountiful crops of tobacco, grains, sorghum, and sweet potatoes were harvested while farm income increased across the board. But the positive economic news of that year couldn't override the fact that life on the farm was still rough during this time. Roads were poor or non-existent. Isolation defined Kentucky agriculture, and farmers had little or no economic clout. They were at the mercy of industry, and their buying power was weak. To address those and other concerns, farmers in Kentucky and across the nation moved collectively to organize into an effective farm organization, one that could go toe-to-toe with industrial interests and political heavyweights. As a result, on November the 7th and 8th in 1919 at the Hotel Henry Watterson in Louisville, Kentucky, Farm Bureau was formed. Fast forward 20 years and we find that the fledgling Kentucky Farm Bureau had survived a stormy first 2 decades. Even though it was working effectively to advance the farm agenda, the organization still was hampered by money problems and struggling to find a way to stabilize its finances. An early affiliation as Kentucky's marketing agent for State Farm Insurance had brought some much-needed cash into the Treasury, but the company refused to limit its sales to just Farm Bureau members. So Kentucky Farm Bureau began writing insurance policies through the neighboring Indiana Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance in 1940. 2 years later, more than 5,000 insurance policies had been issued, signaling to the local Farm Bureau leaders that a sustainable business was within reach. In December of 1943, the brand new Kentucky Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company was established. The Farm Bureau leaders who approved that changeover couldn't be sure of it at the time, but that was the beginning of the incredible success story we celebrate today. Over the ensuing years, Kentucky Farm Bureau Federation and Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance grew to become the largest membership association and largest property and casualty insurance company domiciled in the state. That growth was gradual and at times slow, but it was steady and it was sure. For 50 consecutive years, from 1961 to 2011, the organization's membership continued to grow and took Kentucky Farm Bureau to unprecedented heights. With each passing decade, Kentucky Farm Bureau's political influence continued to blossom in Frankfort and Washington, D.C. The insurance company had simultaneously expanded its coverage offerings and moved into new markets as membership grew. But this growth didn't come without its share of stressful times. In 1974, historic tornadoes wrecked Kentucky and dozens of other states, producing property and economic losses in the Commonwealth that were unprecedented at the time. The early 2000s brought significant weather challenges too. Hurricane Ike reached deep into America's mainland in 2008 and inflicted widespread wind damage across the entire state. Just 4 months later, in early 2009, a devastating ice storm fell on the region, producing property losses in nearly every community. Kentucky was again the target for major spring storms in March of 2012 as massive tornadoes swept across the state. Farm Bureau members in almost every single county suffered losses from this powerful storm, and sadly, the entire town of West Liberty was nearly leveled. This storm quickly became the most expensive claims total in the history of the insurance company, times 2. But the good years and the good management practices far outweighed the problem times, and despite weather-induced setbacks, the company's policy numbers and surpluses have multiplied. Today, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance serves nearly 470,000 families in the state, with over 1.3 million policies in force. There are 175 agencies with at least one office in every Kentucky county and 15 regional offices serving our diverse membership. These numbers reflect Farm Bureau's emphasis on personal relationships and its desire to have a strong local presence in Kentucky communities, large and small. We have a great responsibility to help protect the lives and assets so many Kentuckians have entrusted to our care, and that is a task we do not take lightly. It takes planning, it takes commitment, it takes sound management, and it takes time. But as we strive to find new ways to enhance our customer service experience, improve connectivity with our members, champion people within the organization, and invest resources in improving process performance efficiencies, the core of Kentucky Farm Bureau remains the same. We are here to serve our members, and we couldn't do it without each of you. Kentucky Farm Bureau is certainly a unique organization. There's no other like it. But make no mistake about it, our strength comes from you, the people who work and lead this company, and the dedication you bring to your roles. Each and every one of us must contribute our very best if we are able to continue the legacy of success laid out by our predecessors. I'm Mark Haney, and I'm proud to serve as president of Kentucky Farm Bureau. It's a great honor for me to represent you through this role. I hope you now share my enthusiasm for serving our many member families, knowing where we have been, embracing where we are still going, gives me the assurance that Kentucky Farm Bureau will remain a strong and secure company the next generation can rely upon in times of need. I say with great confidence to you today that our future indeed is bright.